Senator Neil O'Donnell.
A number of colleagues have already referenced what we saw in the north last night in terms of the bonfires and what was depicted upon them. And I have to say, while I was incredibly saddened by the image of Martin and indeed others, I wasn't one bit surprised given the history of these particular pyres. And I suppose what they are, Leader, they have become a manifestation of the lack of respect and the lack of equality that Sinn Féin have been talking about in a political context over the past long number of months. The unionist parties and unionist leaders have gone to ground. They are more than willing to take endorsement from loyalist paramilitaries in advance of elections. But when it comes to this, they are very reluctant to go on the airwaves. Actually, ironically enough, the last public statement I heard Arlene Foster make was to oppose an Irish Language Act because it would risk cultural supremacy, without a hint of irony when we look at what is being enforced or forced upon many communities. And I do feel sorry for a lot of my unionist and loyalist neighbours who do have these health and safety risks, these disgusting, racist, xenophobic, sectarian depictions inflicted upon them. I suppose those are one of that manifestation, that depiction, that mindset is one of the reasons why Sinn Féin has stood firm and said there can be no return to the status quo unless there is an end to disrespect and unless there is an end to inequality. And another one of the reasons, in reference to Senator Crockwell, who made a very sincere and genuine contribution during his own remarks, but one of the other reasons that we have stood firm is around the issue of legacy, is around the issue of bringing some kind of conclusion and resolution for all of those victims, all of that complexity, all of those different experiences. We have said that the British government's veto around national security isn't good enough. We have said there must be funds released to deal with legacy inquests and inquiries, to deal precisely with the kind of impassioned experience that Senator Crockwell has outlined. And that's why I think it's a great shame that there are some parties who tell Sinn Féin to park those issues, to forget about them, to set them to the side, simply return in order to return to what went before and what passed for the status quo. We certainly will be doing that, and I think for all of the reasons I have outlined, for all of the reasons that members know, we have good reason and good cause not to.